Hey y'all, welcome back to InDFlix. Today we're diving into episode 6 of Love is Blind UK season 2. This is the episode where Katisha finally confronts the emotional fallout from her pod decision and meets Demola face to face. We also have some visits from family and friends. Expect raw honesty, resolution, and a moment that fans have been waiting for. So our episode picks right back up between Billy and Ashleigh meeting Ashleigh's dad, breaking down the news of them being engaged. They're getting married in 3 weeks. And overall, dad has honest feelings. I think any parent would have. But at the end of it all, he's going to support his daughter and all is going to be well. So he's okay with it. She has her dad's support. They ended the conversation with her asking him to walk her down the aisle. Of course, he says yes. And that's really the gist of it all. I think, again, it's going to take some time for him to really understand and get to know Billy, but dad gave the okay. So I think that's what she really wanted from him. Just putting this information on him. She just wanted to make sure he was okay with her decision and that he would be there to support her. Another celebratory moment was between Megan and Kieran, and Megan finally tells Kieran that she loves him. And of course, that's the words he wanted to hear ever since saying it in the pods. And I'm not going to lie. I don't know where it came from because literally she just said she wants to take her time with all this, like the last episode. And I know with filming, a couple nights can go by, but I guess her seeing how much he does for her and wants to do for her kind of pushed her more closer to using the big L word. So she's confessed her feelings for him, just giving him more reassurance. This is something he needed in order to say yes at the altar. So it's looking up for these two as well. Javen goes on a little hangout with Jed. And of course, they're talking about the biggest topic of discussion, Demola and Katisha. And, Javen's honest with his feelings. He says right now, he doesn't have 100% yes in saying that at the altar. He feels like things need to happen prior. He feels like their communication has been off because she's not, I guess, coming full front of what's been said, what's been discussed with Demola. He's kind of had to pull it from her. So he does wish the communication can get better. And he also expresses that he thinks that they should meet. They should meet, they should clear the air and figure out what really happened. And Jed is in full support of this. So I think that it shows a little bit of bigs for Javen to kind of put his pride aside and really want there to be some type of conclusion between Katisha and Demola, because I'm sure he's tired of hearing about it. We're tired of hearing about it. It's in the past. So good luck. I would be weary. You never know in those situations if feelings are going to, reignite. But I think he's, this will be a sign for him that he's putting trust in her to get things squashed away. Sarah over also has a conversation with Katisha, and it just expresses how excited she is of meeting Cal's family. They're in a good place. They're feeling good. You could definitely see a shift in how she's viewing things, and her attitude is just way more positive and bubbly. I think ever since him having that conversation and reassuring her, it went a long way. So I'm excited for their families to meet, especially because this is a girl that this is not who he generally would date. So I'm curious to see how they respond to that. Katisha goes into her conversation again. It's about the whole Demola thing and Javen, and just she also understands, this is a good sign. As much as I'm off about Javen, but Katisha also feels the same way that he does, that the only thing that's really lacking right now is their communication. And she's hoping to strengthen that as the weeks go by. So I honestly feel like both of them are probably in the same position and feel exactly the same way towards each other. I don't think that she's fully all the way in just the same way he isn't. And I think it's okay. Like, I think it's okay to move this because they did have one of, I guess, the biggest challenges so far out of all the couples. And it will take time to get through. Speaking of challenges, Billy and Ashleigh have a date and they go out, and Ashleigh expresses to him how, she likes doing things for him, but she notices that he's so quick to jump up and do things like cleaning up around the house, doing dishes and so forth. And those are things she actually likes to do, which also just concludes into his military background. And if you know anyone in the military, have anyone in the military as a family member, you know how structured and planned out that individual is. And that's kind of what their conversation is about. It's like, look, I have this military background. His father was also in the military, so he's used to doing things a certain way. And to Ashleigh's response, she's like, I can understand that, but there has to be some type of flexibility because that's not how she is. She's not as structured as he is. And she's right. Like, we got to learn how to balance the two. It can't be all structure, compared to someone who kind of like, just moves like with the waves. Like, she just goes as she please, or just moves the way she wants to move. So this may be something that they may have to deal with. It wasn't the daddy situation. It may be they're their different lifestyles. Kieran and Megan are proceeding with their relationship. Kieran introduces Megan to his friends. This is a group of people that he expressed he values their opinion and wants their support. And things seem fine. With a group of guys, they can get silly. You can tell she's comfortable around them. They're having these conversations, digging into the real deep questions like, look, are y'all sure this is moving at a faster speed than usual? And, I feel like Kieran and Megan did a okay job with explaining where they're at and how they got there. But there was this one particular friend of Kieran who had his reservations, rightfully so. He's like, look, I never seen you in this predicament. This is, remember, a experiment. It is a social experiment at the end of the day, and it may not go the way you intended to go. He would feel more confident in whatever this was if it was months down the line. But for it to just be literally a month, he has his reservations about it. But all in all, he's going to support his friend in whatever he wants to do. And I do think a lot of these couples do need that reality check from their family and friends. Like, you were contained. You were a part of an experiment. And of course, these feelings have risen quickly. But as quick as they've risen, they can also fall. So to keep that in mind and be wary. But it is nice to see so far that a lot of these couples are having outside support. And then my favorite couple, to me, Barda and Jed have a beautiful date. And again, their connection is one of the strongest ones, in my opinion. They always share excitement for each other, her learning about him learning about her. And it's even gotten deeper to now she's expressing, because he notices she's really close with her mother, and he wants to know more about that relationship. And she, lets him know the recent challenges she's faced with her mother, that she had cancer, and how big that was for her to go through with her mother. And she's just, obviously blessed and grateful that she's still here today. And she's excited for him to meet that part of her family. And I think that's lovely to see. These two are so big on family. The only thing I'm weary about, or I just hope doesn't happen, is because they're so big with family that their family don't agree with what they're doing or doesn't like, either one of them. That's the only thing. I think that would take it to the point of this may not work. Outside of them never getting over this whole dominant thing, that's the only thing. But you can just tell there's so much love between this couple. Do y'all feel the same? Like, are y'all team Jed and Barta at this moment? I really, really love them. Katisha and Javen also went on a date together. And of course, we're still discussing Demola. But Javen is actually expressing to her, like, hey, obviously there was things that were said that had Demola feeling the way he felt. And he actually thinks that it'll be a good idea for her to reach out and they actually meet and talk about the situation to clear the air. And Katisha's also with it. She's like, look, you're right. Like, we do need to have a conversation so that we can get over this hump. And I couldn't agree less. Like, at this point, we might as well meet with the guy and clear things up of how he was feeling, and hopefully she can move forward and he can move forward. But Katisha, baby, to hit him up right now, in my opinion, just didn't seem like the perfect timing. I mean, yeah, we just talked about him and we should move on from the conversation. But she was like, well, do you mind if I hit him up right now? And Jamie's like, I mean, go ahead. It was just awkward because she was like just on her phone. I guess she maybe, I don't know if she texted him or sent him a DM or anything like that. But this couldn't wait till we got home. That was just my thing. I was just like, this wasn't of urgency that it had to be done right now. And maybe she did it so that she can prove to Javen, like, I'm serious and I want you to see that I'm doing it. But this could have been done in the car. This could have been done at home when we chill on the sofa or in bed right now in the middle of the day. But, it is what it is. She hit him up. So Javen seemed fine by it. And hopefully after we get through all this, we can be done with it. Because I'm tired of this being the topic of their whole relationship right now. I don't know anything else about what they got going on besides this Demola thing. Cal takes Sarah over to his family's house. She meets his grandmother and her mother, and all seems well. They're expressing, obviously the experience of meeting behind the pods and not solely basing their connection just off the physical sense, more of the emotional sense. And they're both the mother and grandmother seem pleased so far. They discuss about where they will be living, because I assume Cal and Sarah over have quite a distance, and they've reassured his mother and grandmother, like, we're considering like splitting the time between places. Sometimes we're here, sometimes we're there. She's explaining, like, I'm used to traveling. I got family almost everywhere. So I think that resonated with them a lot. And, obviously they tell him we're getting married. They show the ring. And all the mom and grandmother seem okay with it all right now. Cal's brother is not that impressed by what's going on. I don't know if this is his little brother, his older brother, but he's he's like, look, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I do not see this happening. And he's kind of giving off like Cal is like a ladies' man, which doesn't surprise me because Cal is a good looking man. He knows Sarah over is not his type. Cal's told him, look, we already had that conversation. We're good. It seems like he's trying to like get his brother on board. Like, this is it. I can see my future with her. The brother is not convinced. So I don't know, y'all. Now I'm second guessing because I thought they were kind of moving in a right place and heading upstream. But I assume him and his brother are very, very close. So I would think he would know his brother the best. And I'm sure they probably did missions with each other. So he probably does know, Cal, this ain't it. I don't know. What do y'all think about the brother's response to all of this? So Katisha and Demola finally meet. And this is their first time seeing each other because they obviously didn't get to see each other after the pods. And you can just tell he's looking at her like in awe, like, dang, this girl is gorgeous. But they have the conversation. She's expressing to him why she went about the decision she made. And he's like, kind of taking it all in, letting her know, like, yeah, I did feel some type of way. I honestly thought everything you said to me was a lie. But I think this needed to happen. I feel like both parties have clarity and both can move on. And she makes a comment like, yeah, don't stop being a lover boy. And he says, I don't know, but I'll make sure I do it for the right person. And I really do hope that too, because, when people tend to get hurt, they may or may not intentionally hurt others. So I do hope he keeps that innocence behind him. I'm not gonna lie, y'all, and y'all tell me if y'all feel differently. Seeing them together, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, yes, Demola is a great guy. I just don't think with her, like, I don't see her with Javen either. But just seeing them together, it just didn't give what it needed to give, to me, in my opinion. But y'all let me know in the comments, what do y'all feel about them finally seeing each other and this conversation? Do y'all think this kind of puts a stamp and end to all of the side gossip about this whole situation? Barda and Jed meet Barda's parents, and 10 out of 10 scene. I love the scene. Her parents seem genuinely so happy for her. It doesn't seem like they speak much English, so she was translating some of the things, but mom could not stop smiling. Dad couldn't stop smiling. They've expressed, obviously how much feelings they have for each other and their future. Mom is already asking for grandkids. I just love this whole interaction. I'm really rooting for them. And I love how even at the end, Jed, even though he already proposed, still asked for their blessing, and her father got up and they shook hands. He left him with some encouraging words. This was just an overall great scene, great interaction, and it's gonna piss me off if we get to the day of the wedding and something just goes differently than what I'm already seeing, because they are just showing a lot between the two, like how much of a strong connection they have. I really cannot see it deteriorating. Like, I feel like they are it for each other. Like, this for right now, because we still got other episodes to watch, this is a yes. I for sure feel like both of them are going to say yes. Katisha comes back and tells Javen how it went with her conversation with Demola. And everything's clear. Everything's clear. The air is finally cleared. We can breathe now. Javen asks her if she apologized. She says no. I don't feel like, okay, maybe an apology to not being upfront, maybe that was warranted, yes. But her decision is her decision at the end of the day. She then also makes a comment like she understands why everyone is friends with him. And then I guess Demola was trying to be cute. Not Demola, Javen was trying to be cute and said, you can still change your mind. It's like, boy, please, bye. And they laugh about it. But I would like to see more of them in their connection, because I'm not convinced. I still don't know what they have that's going to keep them so concrete. So Billy and Ashleigh go grocery shopping, and I'm not going to lie, this scene was a little bit cringe to me. This is their first time grocery shopping. Now, remember I said earlier, two different lifestyles. He has the military background and it's all structured this, structured that. And she's kind of like just free will, to say lightly. But they get into this grocery store. She's trying to pick and choose, groceries. And he is literally eyeing everything this girl picks up and has something to say. Oh, this is this many calories. Oh, this is unhealthy. This isn't healthy. And I think it's going to wear our girl down. And I get it. He mentions like, look, I can't preach about good eating and healthy eating to, all my soldiers, and I don't follow those same rules. But, y'all literally just spoke about having some type of balance. And I think this is going to be something that's going to push Ashleigh a little bit, because she doesn't want to have to conform into this whole military structure lifestyle. That's not her. He even admits that in previous relationships, he would just get food for himself. His partner would get food for her. But this is a marriage. Like, usually you're cooking for each other, or buying for the house, not individually. So I don't know where this may go, y'all. This is a crack in this relationship. I don't know if Billy is able to compromise with Ashleigh on this, because he's just seems so spot on how he feels or what he believes in. This will be something. This will be very telling as we go, further with the days and how they're going to make their decision. Oh, that was episode 6, y'all. How are we feeling with these couples and meeting families and friends and the all these different opinions on how they're going about this? How do y'all feel about the confrontation between Katisha and Demola? I feel like it gave some kind of emotional clarity. Hopefully, this was like a key episode for that. And this whole crack between Billy and Ashleigh, it just has me, it's shaky grounds. But I appreciate y'all watching this emotional deep dive into episode 6 of Love is Blind UK season 2. Do you think Katisha and Demola's talk or closure is too little too late? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, like, subscribe, and ring that bell to stay with me through every pod confession and relationship cliffhanger. See you next episode. The roller coaster is just getting started.